Hello everyone and welcome back to Gen Con 2018, where I'm joined by long lost family. I've met another Poots. I'm genuinely excited about this. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
So we seriously might be related. There's not a lot of Pootses.
No.
And there's a pretty cool family feud over a very old farm back from when William Orange conquered Ireland. So we're gonna figure this out at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down, get through the family genealogies. We'll work this out. We'll see who owns that farm. Anyway, family history aside, what have you been up to at the show? How are things going with Kingdom Death?
Things are going pretty good. We had a gigantic line again that I was not expecting. My team was like, we're going to have a giant line. I'm like, I don't know, guys. Like, we don't really have that much that's new this time around. Like, I'm sure people already have all this stuff at this point. They're like, no, they're going to get in line because they're excited. I'm like, all right. So, day one, the Gen Con police shows up, like every year, and they're like, I need you to manage your line. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got some guys positioned over there. Can we run through the emergency exit doors again? He's like, no. Your line is touching the opposite wall down there.
Holy hell.
I was like, oh, no. So they gave us a script to follow, and we did. And by the end of the day, they showed up again. And they always drive around their little truck, Gen Con guys. And they're like, you guys did an excellent job managing your line. Thank you so much. You listened to what we had to say. We had no problems. Like, if you keep this up, we don't care how big your line is. I was like, that's great. Thank you. That's really good to hear. And, managing the line was our all-star team of the Kingdom Death sculptors.
So you actually had the sculptors out there dealing with the crowd?
We don't have any volunteers or anything. It's just a team.
Ah,
so everyone here works on the projects, and we all know each other. It's, nice to bring everyone together. But, maybe if we had some volunteers next year, we can actually take a break and, do something as a team instead of just working.
Well, you hit it there. If you want to volunteer next year at Gen Con with the Kingdom Death guys.
We're thinking about it, for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be helpful.
Excellent. Well, the models are absolutely beautiful. I've seen the display you've got here. No wonder people are flocking to it. Anything that you think people are particularly excited to see?
For me, I would be excited to see the new stuff.
Yeah.
And at the very front, sort of at the beginning of the line, we have the Gambler, which is the hooded figure holding up the massive ball of human bodies. And that was sculpted by Jack, who has been helping with line guarding. And it took him the better part of a year. He's 276 people on that thing, and everyone is different because they're all sculpted by hand. I specifically wanted to do it by hand instead of digital, so it didn't feel like a clone stamp tool. Anything is gorgeous. Just holding the ball and looking at it, it's such an insane piece of art. It's really sort of transcends what should be on a gaming table, but it's okay.
It is one of my favorite models you guys have produced. Now, what is next for Kingdom Death? What have you guys got planned later down the line?
Besides fulfilling the massive stack of promises we made for the Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's say we get through that flawless and everyone's happy and excited. There are other games I want to explore that are part of the game universe that should help kind of the fans piece together more of the overarching sort of story and lore that we set into place.
Yeah.
One of the things I did before launching the Kickstarter was really sit down and think about the world building aspect of it so that we could continue to make things to the fans that feel grounded and feel part of the world without it getting that sort of sense that it's something that's tacked on. So I had to kind of figure out where everything could go for 10 years before I could introduce what's going to happen for the next 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was now scoped out. A few members of the teams know about it. I didn't want to tell everyone because everyone gotta, can't. This is our job. You don't want to drop this stuff just yet.
Are you sure you don't want to let anything slip here?
So let me think. So if my hope is that after we get through Monster, I can start working on Labyrinth, which is the game that features the actual heroes. And in Kingdom Death Monster, the heroes just kind of make cameos, right? But then the question is sort of well, where do the heroes come from? What are they up to? What are they doing in the game world that's so different just from the people who are surviving? And those are all sort of questions that we plan on answering in little bits and pieces. We have the first hero expansion, which initially was written as a way for people to time skip. So if you're sitting down to play Kingdom Death, you played a million times, you're like, I just really want to start at year 10. I just really want to start at year 20. That is an expansion that gives you rules for that. You play as veteran survivors who come in and you find that there's a settlement with this like hero who hunts the monsters alone, and he confronts you, and if you drive him off, you can then go and inherit his settlement. So it's like an organic way to let you time skip instead of just like giving you rules. Like, yeah, you can time skip. Here's some rules and some tables. It's easy. It's like, no, it's got to be part of the story. Like, more like, here's some gameplay questions. Let's give you gameplay answers that you play through. But, you know, when you defeat the first hero, does he die? Does he wander off? Like, you know, that starts to introduce new places that we can leave ambiguities to fill in later once we explore Labyrinth.
I'm very excited to see where that goes.
The Inverted Mountain 2 plays a little bit into the world cycle, so there'll be some hints and clues in that as well.
Oh, excellent. Be sure to keep your eyes out for that. Now, before we let you go manage the rest of your Mammoth line, would you have a prize to give away for anyone who comments on this?
Absolutely. Let's give you guys one. Let's do all 3 of the releases that we brought to Gen Con.
All 3?
Yeah, so we have the Echoes of Death, which is sort of a new set with 4 models and has a little bit of gameplay in it. It introduces what I'm currently calling the Strain system, which is an extension of the Node system. Follow me here for a second, which teaches people how to use their content to build campaigns. And the Strain system is sort of related to that a little bit. You'll see when you look at the rules.
Yeah. We'll be sure to get some pictures of everything as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have continuing our Gen Con tradition, a sci-fi version of the Savior. She comes with a head based on her original artwork and an alternate head based on Lockman's pinup incarnation of her, so you can pick which one. And the model itself is pretty cool. The base is of a sleeping person hooked up to a projector, and then the model is standing on the projector. So the idea is, like, you know, saviors are supposed to be in Kingdom Death. Saviors sort of like get their powers through dreams, and quote unquote. It's a very simplified version of that. So in the sci-fi version, it's like, is the character just a projection? Was sort of the thought. I thought it'd be really cool to paint it like it was a projection. You know?
That would be incredible to see.
We didn't have time to make that. And
next time.
The other release is another photo resin figure. Which is a high school version of the White Speaker, which was for photo resin, which we've been exploring as a way to help add to our resin production line, which is always like, you only get so much every month, that's it. We've been sort of making sort of models specifically that would be a little bit easier to produce through that manufacturing process, and we're also trying to make sure that the first few are things that we definitely think will sell, so we can make the money back on the investment. And I was pretty confident in a high school version of the White Speaker selling out, so we could make our money back on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for those. Okay, if you want to get hold of any of those amazing models, be sure to head over and check out Kingdom Death, and come over to ontabletop.com, leave a comment on this particular post, and you could be in with a chance of winning some amazing Kingdom Death miniatures. In the meantime, we're going to talk more about family history. Let's go. Come on.